Let's do it.
ATW, what does that mean to you? If you're a first-time viewer, I'm sure it just means 3 random letters. For us, this is family. This is professional wrestling. This is a congregation that came together through one individual passion and perspective on all things wrestling. And so we come to you at the end of this year as we head into 2022 with the last bit of ATW View. But I digress. Hello, everybody. I hope you all had a great holiday. Once again, we are back to give you a perspective on all things wrestling. Welcome to the ATW View. I am, of course, the simple man. My name is Noah Foster. Joining me tonight is the pillars, several pillars, not all of them. Shout out to the ones that aren't here, including Lex and Mega, but not limited to. But the pillars of ATW. I say we got the preacher man, Casey Flynn. We got the all elite king himself, who's going to have a very tricky 2022, I think. Anthony, and of course, our inquirer, the better of all things news, Eric Brown, representing at the Reality Entertainment. Gentlemen, we got through the final holiday of the year, and we literally are less than a week away into another year. But before we talk about anything this year of wrestling and what we think is to come, let's go ahead and spread a bit of post-holiday cheer. How was everybody's Christmas? Eric, I will start with you. How are you, sir?
It was good. It was good. It was good. Besides my sister, because I have a little sister of frustrations. Very bad frustrations.
Yeah.
But besides that, yeah, it was all right. We weren't really much in the holiday cheer because ever since Memorial Day, it's been odd.
Yeah, I remember that story.
Remember you telling us about that, man.
Yeah, so naturally, we weren't just feeling much of the holiday because of everything that's happened the last 6 months. But we did go out and give some holiday stuff with some Christmas stuff. And I have the perfect gift responses that will destroy all of yours.
I want for nothing. There is nothing you could show me that would break my spirit. But go for it.
Me neither. What is it?
It's The Rock says
Rock.
Funko Pop. That's for those collectors out there, which I'm not.
Oh, that's the collector. I'm a collector, but I've never seen that one before. And I have
it's a Walmart exclusive from the art series.
Oh, okay. Art series.
Also, Third Eye Comics is awesome. Also, before I get into that, guess what I got?
What you got?
The Xbox mini fridge.
Oh, next gen. He has the Xbox S Scorpio.
Nice.
Also, shout out to Third Eye Comics. When I was there on Black Friday for Third Eye Comics shop, my mom and them decided to buy me a gift, and they hid, and the whole team there hid it from me. It's that Electra statue over there by the Xbox fridge.
And then you got that.
Yeah, and also I went post-Christmas shopping and got myself this.
Spider-Man.
Yo, Spider-Man.
Nice.
Yes.
Shout out to No Way Home.
Hold on, let me just close this camera for a sec. I'll be right back.
Oh, he's got one last trick up his sleeve. This is an impartial judgment. I have no criticism. Hashtag spoiler free to the brand new Spider-Man movie as well. But I've heard that's pretty good, so go see it.
And also I got some gift cards, and I got this big Pop Funko set of the Avengers from the Infinity Saga. Also, so if that won't defeat you all in destroying your hopes and dreams, I got one more thing, and this will be the shocker. Hold on.
Shock. Well, we've already seen shocks galore this year, including last week.
Yes, we have.
But let's see what he's got here, and then we'll go around and check everyone else out.
Guys, I'm back.
Yes.
So I don't drink, but have you all want a little bit of the public?
This boy's ready for 2022.
Wow,
right.
bro.
Come on back.
Yep.
Nice.
I don't drink. This is just collector's item.
Right. I'm sure it will age over time, though. Again, I'm straight edge, but it doesn't mean my Italian roots won't make me embark into something rather non-straight edge. But we'll see. But anyway, nice one, Eric.
Okay, here's the best way to describe it. If the world ends tomorrow and I'm still awake, I'm probably going to drink this to knock myself out.
Here's to the end of existence. Well, that's awesome. Casey, how was your and your family's Christmas? What'd you get?
Oh, it was very nice actually, and got a gun that shoots bugs, and kind of like a rifle that shoots bugs.
Okay.
Bug gun, actually. Actually, though, I'm playing the game Xbox Series X.
What's wrong with you guys? PlayStation's the way to go. No loading screens.
Like all money I got to go with Christmas, and I plan to get the Series X. And actually, I think we should all four of us should have an online matchup at any game, like co-join, and I think to be Alley Boy, Jen, News Fan, Eric. So I'll have a matchup at Halo where me and Jen are on the same team.
Lead all the way.
Okay, guys, I just remembered. So for those who, for that idea, it could actually happen because Halo Infinite is on Steam and the multiplayer is free to download.
Yeah, I heard about that actually. That's going to definitely probably cross-play as well between the Steam.
Yeah, it has that. It has cross-play.
Well, that's because the Xbox platform shares with the Microsoft, but continue, Casey.
Also, Noah, in response to your PlayStation comment, I can tell you what PlayStation doesn't have.
Halo?
Oh no.
No, not that.
What
No.
What don't they have?
What do they hold on?
They have no quality control.
Okay, that's true, but they can get away with it
Very
because
true.
they're already so far ahead in the market, all right? Microsoft is trying to catch up. Remember, that one year that Microsoft tried to expose the Xbox as the all-in-one entertainment system.
Yeah, that was a decade ago, and everyone kind of moved on from that since Phil Spencer took over.
Yeah, finally, but it's still a black mark on that company's history and that console's
No,
history.
the Red Ring of Death was the black mark on their company's history.
That too.
That's
That's
Xbox
just another
360,
one.
yep.
And I'm a victim of that because I had an Xbox 360.
Same. I was a victim of that Red Ring of Death.
Right.
So was I.
Well, enjoy your new Xboxes, gentlemen. As me and Anthony here, we're on the Supreme team, which is PlayStation. Screw you, PC Master Race, you doggone cultist. But I digress. Anthony, how are you, man? How was your Christmas?
Man, my Christmas is really good. As I do every year, I host the NBA 2K22 tournament, but this time not on the PS4. I did it for the PS5, as y'all all know. Oh my goodness. Well, luckily I used to be the participant and I will whoop all my cousins' asses. But I decided to be the host of this one, and the winner got a $50 GameStop gift card from me to get whatever game they want, whatever they want to get. So they got my friend my cousin Dante won. He was using the Golden State Warriors, and my little brother Braylon was using the Lakers. Shout out to LeBron. Let's just say Dante beat my little brother by 3 points. It was a game-winning three on top of the key. Yep. And we all was like, oh my God, like we all fainted and passed out, like so hyped and excitement and stuff. Like we had the whole room just basically just fun. And done that in like years. So it was nice enough for me to do that. And then also, me and my grandma decided not to cook this year, so we did a little barbecue and we did some like ribs and brisket and chopped beef and like mashed potatoes,
just so you know, folks, he's not endorsed by good old JR. Just saying.
We had lasagna.
Lasagna, the Italian. Which Noah said, I am not endorsed by JR, but JR, we can't wait to hear your voice on Wednesday. And I did try some of your barbecue sauce. Best barbecue sauce you ever had, sir.
I swear, the first time I barbecue at my new house, I'm finally going to invest in JR's barbecue sauce because I can, and I'll have a grill, and I'm finally going to indulge in that stuff for darn sure. Finger licking, slobber knocker, good, but I digress. All right, well, great stuff, gentlemen. Yeah, my Christmas was pretty simple for the first time in my new abode. I got a nice sentimental gift I'll always treasure forever from my mother that just, goes out to how much she appreciates me as her son. I told her not to give me anything, but she insisted. Now forever will be in my bedroom. And a couple of PlayStation gift cards for my sis, but overall it was a nice, wholesome holiday. and honestly, one of the more peaceful, tranquilo ones to say the least. But I digress. But I'm glad everybody had a wonderful holiday as we look forward towards brighter days and better things, hopefully to come, not only in our lives, but in the professional wrestling industry come next year, as we literally, again, are on the countdown to 2022. And Lord help us all. So that being said, why don't we go ahead and look back on this year, 2021, in all things wrestling, because there were some huge, incredible moments, some great stuff, some stuff we wish we could forget that didn't fucking happen. Incredible losses.
And we had tons of terrible stuff that made me want to cry myself to sleep.
Incredible losses, tragedies, botches, galore.
And also one of the greatest WrestleMania debates on this channel too.
We're not going there. We're not going there.
Man.
I'm focusing on wrestling, not ATW. But if you want to go ahead and do that, let's go ahead and reminisce, because
of all time.
guys, we created something special here. Not just a positive, non-toxic family within this incredibly critically judgmental internet wrestling community, but we came together and created our own platform where we go above and beyond to share our thoughts, our outlooks, perspectives, reactions, and predictions in all sorts of things wrestling. We created the ATWView. It wasn't a single person, it was a group effort and a positive, fun project. And I look forward towards what else we can do with this platform next year in 2022. You already brought one memory, but I just want to go around and get people's thoughts. What has been your favorite things about this year in ATW doing the ATWView?
One is that WrestleMania debate with Megan and Noah going at it that one night is me, King, Eric, and Lex were all laughing, all at one night. And then another ATW moment that was awesome. ATWView Unlimited Madness.
Oh yes, the crowning madness, the longest ATWView to date.
Yes.
Where
my highlight also.
There's another one. How I laughed so hard at Taurus.
Oh yes, an immortal moment forever. Yowie, wowie. All right, Casey, good stuff, preacher man.
Yes.
Eric, what about you? I mean,
psychologically breaking all of you and torturing you there.
That's as simple as that. Again, he is the bearer of news. He's also the agent of chaos. He might as well be Darth Vader or Palpatine. Get into the madness.
Well, I already told you what happened before we did this. Severe. Wait, what?
What?
Yeah.
Anyway, King, what about you, man? What's been some of your favorite memories this year on the ATWView that we've made?
Yeah.
Besides the WrestleMania debate between you and Megan, we had to talk about James and his little on the Thursday tirade episode, because oh my God. Ever since, I haven't laughed that hard since our WrestleMania ATWView, and James is a whole other character in his own right. Like seriously,
he really is. Also, here's Morgan Freeman. Oh my God, that intro on Full Gear! I'm always gonna remember that.
Yes.
I am a historian. Wait, who we fight? Rocky, right?
Oh, one more other thing.
What?
From an ATWView, like this year, was Noah absolutely going berserk at the grizzled young veteran's loss to MSK.
I've had enough rants for one lifetime where I'm pretty sure my blood pressure is not going to be normal next year.
MSK to beat grizzled young veterans, and Noah went full berserk that one.
That was probably my worst rant this year. That was worse than me talking about Goldberg becoming WWE champion in 2021, where I tried to go on TikTok and cosplay somebody.
We don't speak of that.
Right, because it was bound to happen at Country Redacted. But I digress. Yeah, we've had our
becoming WWE champion one time.
we've had our fair share of rants and why the F did this happen, but there's some fun moments too where we just shared a discussion. I really gotta give credit where credit's due to Megan Chiba on really hosting a great episode on the perspective of women's wrestling. And ever since James joined the family, he's definitely brought a different perspective and a lot of fun moments and clashing of the minds with Eric too. And yeah, I think overall, the biggest moment this year will definitely be the rant debate of women's tag team wrestling between me and Megan Chiba. Will that happen next year at WrestleMania? Insert number here. We're going to have to wait and see. But that being said, I look forward to it.
If there even is, like Nia Jax is gone, so clearly that's not going to happen again.
But you still got
So
Shayna
it's
Baszler.
like, is there even a women's tag team division still in that company?
I think they still have the titles. They're just, irrelevant. And Shayna Baszler is there. So chances are they'll probably do Shayna Baszler versus Naomi, and Naomi will beat Shayna Baszler on the Grand Station Wall, and Megan will break something. Shout out, by the way, to Megan Chiba, who now is, of course, training to be a great wrestler herself. Part of maybe NXT UK. We'll have to wait and see. But also, I hope her health is okay. Please take care of my friend. Get well soon. We miss you.
Damn you, COVID!
Shout out to
pandemic. But I digress.
Shout out to Kid Bandit too in this family. Shout out to Kid Bandit as well, doing his thing.
Absolutely. Again, wrestling influences in and out of ATW, in and out of this family and this wrestling community too.
Oh, did you see what Kid Bandit wants to do now?
What does he want to do now?
Okay, he basically, someone gave this tweet out saying the anime version, the wrestling version of Izuku versus Bakugo, Kid Bandit versus Hook.
Okay.
Hook.
That needs to happen with chips, of course.
With chips.
I feel bad because I watched Rampage yesterday. Finally, the holiday was over. I did not have any chips. Oh well. I got again. You don't watch Hook
either.
Again. I don't know if he actually chews chips while he's wrestling. He's definitely chewing something. Tobacco, I don't know. Anyway.
But Hook is a star in the making. I don't care what anybody says about him no selling that Rikishi driver for Bear Bronson. That was basically a no sell, and it needed to happen because
used to no sell back at SummerSlam. There's clips of it all over the internet. Like
they said like father like son.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly. He's a star in the making. He's only 22 years old, guys. 22 years old.
At the ages of the incredible roster of AEW that they are grooming to carry the professional wrestling industry forward for the next decade or so. And
I like to state for the record that no sadly beat Tyler Bate at 19.
There you go. I'm just saying.
That is true.
Well, anyway, let's go ahead and just talk all things wrestling like we always do. Let's go ahead and first look at the perspective of wrestling this year. We can look at the Forbidden Door that, of course, started last year in December through Kenny, Omega, and Don Callis on AEW Dynamite winners coming last year. We could look at what companies we think have really risen this year, fallen hard. And we can really look at what wrestlers really stepped up and owned this year too. I think there's so much to talk about. So
I guess I need to say this. I actually know what's the worst wrestling thing to happen this year, and that's beside virtually anything WWE commits a horrible crime against humanity.
Well, it is December,
you want to know what I think is the worst thing that WWE wrestling ever had to deal with?
What would that be?
When the Tribalists took their drama with each other and brought it into reality. The fans signed at Rampage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I won't mention their names for two reasons. One, no publicity. And two, even though I despise how they act, I do not want to send harassment and death threats to them because, well, that's the internet, sadly.
And that's also the internet corrupting you to sink towards stupidity and humanity's level. So kudos to you. Yeah, let's go ahead and not try to acknowledge the mediocrity, stupidity, and lack of conscious thinking and kindness in several members, if they are human, and that's the real names, of this so-called internet wrestling community. Let's go ahead and try to look at some good stuff. Let's look at the first quarter of this year. We had Edge come back, win the Royal Rumble. We had AEW Revolution. It set up a lot of big stuff, but unfortunately, people are always going to remember the blasted, pun intended, ending. And we also, of course, had the first WrestleMania with fans, and the first WrestleMania that really left very key touching moments, especially Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks main eventing night one. What a moment for those two and women's wrestling, in my opinion. Those are just a couple of takeaways for me for the first quarter of this year. And I didn't even talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling that really kicked things off with Wrestle Kingdom, where we saw a hell of a never-weight title match between Shingo Takagi and Jeff Cobb, and Kota Ibushi finally ascending to the freaking ultimate heights of the stratosphere. But also
and then they wrecked it.
Yes, also changing New Japan Pro Wrestling going forward forever. Yeah, I had to
more like this. Out of every promotion, save for one, I think the pandemic really damaged New Japan Pro Wrestling status. Besides Ring of Honor and what happened to them.
Yeah, and New Japan Pro Wrestling to me still does not truly feel the same without that audible noise by the fans. And you know the fans sometimes can't help themselves. They have to bring it out for a super huge moment, but them just being so quiet, it just hurts the value, in my opinion, of the product. It just hurts the value of the product, in my opinion. Jesus. Whoa, man. You got a hell of a
dogs have gone rabid.
Fork, as Allie's dogs would say. Anyway, look, I'm gonna talk about it. Just go along with me, all right? That being said, King, any thoughts you have towards what happened pretty much up to WrestleMania across any company or anything in wrestling?
Let me see. Kenny Omega's start of his long belt collector. Well, not really start, but him being the belt collector, being the best belt collector. Get well soon, by the way. Don't come back in February. Take all.
Yeah, there's been an update on that.
Please don't.
Go ahead and tell before I continue.
Dave Meltzer, aka Independent Wrestling's PR spokesperson and AEW's public representative, has come out and declared Kenny Omega has no timetable. Now there's no timetable for him, so he's pretty much gone indefinitely.
But it also means he can return anytime he wishes. And this is Kenny Omega we're talking about, the man that lives and breathes professional wrestling. Even
to the point that, yeah, I'm thinking Undertaker levels of insanity. Oh, that happened in the middle of that happened early in this year. Undertaker shooting everyone in the foot, but we'll get to that.
Yeah,
we'll get to that when we get to it.
But bad PR galore this year too. I'm sure we'll have plenty of news stories that you'll bring up. But go ahead and continue your thoughts, King. Oh, by the way, you did bring up the key thing about Kenny Omega bringing Bullet Club back in Impact Wrestling, as he did show up at Hard to Kill.
Yep, with the Bullet Club Halloween T-shirt, which New Japan did not know that they were going to do that, but I guess miscommunication on that part. But
I'll be right.
Let's see.
Just saying.
Vince, more releases. What I took was more releases as well. But basically, there were some notable names in that releases where they're in greater pastures and like greater spirits within other companies, which well deserved, because once you in that company, you are felt like a prison. Like you are handcuffed creatively, and you are handcuffed with your character. Not really creatively, but how you wrestle as well. I mean, look at Keith Lee, look at Dijakovic. I could probably name a few others, but also the biggest takeaway, and I'm gonna go post WrestleMania over here. I'm gonna go into May. How in the world is a 62-year-old man by the name of Sting wrestling like he's still 27?
There you go. The WCW legend himself, encouraged to wrestle by one of the brightest, young, and reckless wrestlers going today, Darby Allin.
Darby Allin. If it wasn't for Darby, I don't think we would have had Sting wrestle. So we can all give thanks to credit all to Darby, and also Miro's TNT title run. Oh my God, that was a good title run about Miro.
Yes, very good stuff. We also, of course, had our Arcade Anarchy, where the best friends finally made contact with the galaxy's greatest alien, Boop. And Chris Statlander has been on an absolute, no pun intended, rampage this year with what she brings to the ring, being more galactic, stronger than ever. We also had Rebellion, where history was made and the belt collector came to fruition, where Kenny Omega took on Red Swan on the Impact Wrestling turf and won the Impact World Heavyweight Championship. We also had the destruction of the Fiend at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I feel like I just have to bring that up because one of the most original creative things in that company's latest history completely destroyed in less than 10 minutes. And the sad part is the other person that was involved is getting all the blame for it. And all she's doing is her job, who for all we know was heavily influenced by Bray Wyatt when it came to her character direction and the collaboration. And you know who I'm talking about, but I'm not going to say her name because my device is over there in the corner. You all shut up. That being said, Eric, I will mute you. I will mute you.
I said too easy.
Thank you.
Very easy.
Casey, give me your thoughts towards the earlier part of this year in all things wrestling. What are some of your biggest takeaways or moments or things that you regret seeing happen?
Thing that gets me is especially that they managed to mess up William Ratunda's character 15 all in one.
You might want to turn your mic up a little bit, preacher man.
When you sit down to it, Bray Wyatt had the greatest thing going in the Fiend character, and they managed to destroy the Fiend all in one. And the reason why is Williams was being too protective over his character, Fiend. And you had guys like the Undertaker, Mark Calloway being protective of the Undertaker gimmick back in the day. What is wrong with William Rotunda not being protective of his character, the Fiend? That's what boggles my damn mind. And number one now, but also makes me I get annoyed at is how they were blaming Alexa Bliss for his downfall. Because it was not Alexa Bliss's fault that Bray Wyatt was released, number one. Alexa Bliss simply showing what her bosses were telling her to do. She's just following orders. She does what the bosses tell her to do, and that was her job. Alexa Bliss was doing. And to me, it was not Alexa Bliss's fault. She has nothing to do with that. That is the management and the upper boss's fault for messing with William Rotunda's character, the Fiend. If they could have let him loose and let him just do the Fiend bomb, all have control of it. But nope, they want to do things their way. And they killed Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt's fun for professional wrestling. That's why he took a long time off after he lost at WrestleMania to Randy Orton back in April.
Yeah, back in April, where God tried to stop the show from happening, trying to get Vince back from 2006. They were freaking stuck in a lightning storm. Yeah. What the hell? You reap what you sow, in my opinion. But I digress. We also saw this year a virtuosa own the professional wrestling industry. And will she reign again as a belt collector in her own right? There you go. Or cross crew a forbidden door? We'll have to wait and see. We may have seen the rise of a new hardcore legend in Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, don't forget it, as she took on Thunder Rosa in a match to remember, an unsanctioned match on AEW Dynamite during the pandemic back in March at St. Patrick's Day Smash. We've also saw Karashida try to bridge Joshi Pro Wrestling in Japan with AEW during that eliminator tournament, and she reigned for a whole year. And then the doctor finally took her seat on the throne, and now we live in the era of DMD. There's been so much going on in all things wrestling as we saw the rise of the Empire with Will Ospreay, claiming the history Kota Ibushi started back at Sakura Genesis, but also the booking moves this year by Gato, including the out of nowhere cutter on BF Priestley, where he said, I'm willing to do anything for this title. I was like, what? And then, of course, we've seen how this belt, maybe this IWGP Championship, has been more of a curse than an actual sign of better things to come. We've also, of course, seen so much of Impact Wrestling, which I think has had a really good rise this year, and GCW, which in my opinion has been the promotion to watch this year for a number of reasons. So much more. Eric, do you have anything on your mind?
Okay. So the Bray Wyatt debacle.
Yes.
I every time I look at what they did to Bray Wyatt to Rotunda, I'm thinking this is literally the straight edge society all over again. You took this great thing and then you said we can wreck it.
Well, you count how many times they've done that with something. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but here's the thing. The amount of times they screwed Wyatt over. He got the Wyatt family over. Nope, we got to screw that up. He got himself over. Nope, we got to screw that up. We got the Fiend and Firefly Funhouse over. Have Seth burn it down and use a DQ in the Hell in a Cell match. He got himself back over. Goldberg did it. And then they did the Firefly Funhouse match, which was awesome. And then they were like, Roman's back. We got to put the tribal chief over.
There you go.
Yeah,
The only thing and the most protected thing in the WWE.
Yeah, and with okay, I told you guys this earlier. I gotta ask, what did you all think of the final quote budget cut WWE pulled? The COVID testing removal.
I knew they were going to pull something out of the bag. And again, it's the start 2022.
Like, what did you all think when you heard that?
So basically how I see it is that so you're gonna have to have Roman go to Hollywood and you have KO resign and then you pull this shenanigans, even though KO left because of the fact that because they thought they were gonna be doing testing and he stayed at his house for how many months or weeks or days? I forgot.
It was several.
He was gone from WrestleMania afterwards to, if I had to be correct, September.
I think that was about right because he was not involved in SummerSlam.
No, he wasn't. So yeah, he was
And
gone
then
for those many
Roman
months.
Reigns left before his big main event match with Goldberg and said, if you don't take this seriously, I'm retiring. I'm done. I don't need you.
Exactly. But
look here we are now when we're going to go right back to square one with the situations.
Of course.
Yeah, and here's what I said, that if I was Roman, if I was Joe, this is what should be the vibe that people should be worried about with Roman. Joe is just as pissed off as Roman Reigns' character is, and this time you won't be able to talk him down.
You blur the lines between the character versus the actual person. When the person is upset with you, that's a whole nother story, especially when he's your top guy, top merch seller, top reliable
and plus,
person.
like we mentioned, he's making serious talks with Hollywood agents. What's telling him to say, well, I got Hollywood calling me. See you guys. I don't have to go to day one. Goodbye.
Well, the point of going to WWE is not to be a professional wrestler, but to be that next great entertainer, which honestly basically means you go to WWE, you're just trying to get to Hollywood and get away from the ring, I feel like. Look at Sasha Banks. She did the Mandalorian, and she's barely been involved physically in the ring.
Oh, and
Yep.
Sonya Deville says she wants to be in Hollywood like The Rock and Cena. And I was like, okay.
Okay, yeah, that's a freaking thing, I guess. Oh yeah, we also saw the death of a brand. RIP towards 7 years of incredible attempted rise in pro wrestling, change the direction of WWE. Goodbye, NXT, not my NXT. But before that, there was some awesome stuff with Karrion Kross, TikTok, who took on the best of NXT in a fatal 5-way match. We had Io Shirai and Candice LeRae have a hell of a feud. And we saw a certain way the NXT product was taken that really brought forward something that I'm sure we'll never forget, and that is the story of Index.
I was gonna say, and then don't forget, then we took the downward spiral when we said, hey, remember Mortal Kombat Annihilation Shao Kahn? Let's make a crappier version of that with Karrion Kross and have him lose to Jeff Hardy in like a minute and 39 seconds.
And Jeff Hardy is the face.
While he's still champion.
And Jeff Hardy is the face while literally loses via heelish tactics. And I'm like,
and look,
guys really
and look,
that one.
And look at Jeff now.
Who knows?
He's out of WWE.
Well, we can only hope that he's taking care of himself mentally and physically, because again, that guy, he destroys his body in the ring. Go ahead, Casey.
Okay.
Right. And here's one awesome match from the black and gold brand of NXT. Is Walter versus Dragunov.
That's it. That was the end note I was going for. Yep.
That Dragunov and Walter tore the house down at NXT TakeOver 36.
That match.
Those guys looked like they could have went all night and into the early morning hours. That's how great of a match it was. And those two guys literally beat the shit out of each other straight to no return. Because that's how great of a match that was. And Dragunov is a tough son of a bitch to stand those hard chops from Walter in that match. And Walter versus Dragunov, my honest opinion, that is match of the year from NXT TakeOver 36 for the NXT UK title. And there's another match of mine. That is
there's a topic we're going to go into. Good luck naming only one match.
Right up there, that one. With that one. For the NXT UK Women's Championship, Haley Ray, the current champ at the time, versus Miko Satomura.
They faced each other twice for the title.
Champion twice. And the second match between them two was great, just like the first match that they had. Haley Ray, Miko Satomura absolutely tore the house down at BT Sports Studio in London. And shout out to both of those ladies for putting on an incredible, phenomenal match to this very day in the modern era of women's wrestling. Because that match right there, I say, if that happened in AEW or any other promotion, you best believe that match is going to be great outside of WWE with AEW or Impact, because that match would be right up there with their NXT UK match.
Well, again, Kaylee Ray and Michael Satomura are no strangers to each other. The first time I saw those two face each other was in Pro Wrestling Eve at Wrestle Kingdom, which is like their version of, you can guess it, Wrestle Kingdom. And Kaylee Ray got the surprise win via roll-up. Now they meet at NXT UK where Kaylee Ray's the champion, and Michael Satomura took Kaylee Ray further than anybody else and got the title off her.
Yes, you did.
Let's go ahead and talk about, by the way, NXT UK. Every week it seemed, or every other week it seemed, somehow within an hour, they have constantly delivered bangers of main events and incredible first-time clashes, whether it was a Heritage Cup match or a Tag Team Championship match or an NXT Championship match of some form, or a grudge battle, the NL grudge battles, like the street fight or the knockout or tell between Joe Coffey and Rampage Brown. It seemed that NXT UK constantly delivered a pay-per-view quality main event this year on each one of their shows. They have really kept up with what they stand for over there on that brand. And I just wanted to put that out there. NXT UK needs more viewership, needs to be more respected, and definitely deserves more attention than a lot of things in the WWE. That's all I gotta say about it. I also gotta give a shout out for talking about matches of the year. Dude, Shingo Takagi versus fill in the blank. Okada, Will Ospreay, Jeff Cobb, Kota Ibushi, yet to happen, but he wants it to happen. You name it. And I gotta say, one of my favorite matches this year that he had was not even a championship match. My boy, I gotta go with Shingo Takagi versus Tomohiro Ishii, G1 Climax 31, Day 1 main event opener of the series. Those two could have killed each other with those lariats that sounded like freaking gunshots. Definition of strong spirit and Japanese strong style. And the reason I love that style of professional wrestling so damn much. Shout out to our fellow Japanese correspondent Indigo, who definitely I feel like has wagered Utami as his female wrestler of the year after her Dave Meltzer ratings breaking candidate match of the year against Saraya with that beautiful Stardom Championship, and she still holds that belt to this day. Can anybody take the belt off Utami at this point? I gotta wonder. But again, Stardom is one of those brands that doesn't get enough attention because, again, it's in that little spot. And I'm glad we'll talk about now they're getting the attention they deserve on the main stage of Wrestle Kingdom next year. But that being said, you talk about matches of the year, you talk about stories of the year, you talk about things to remember this year, endless moments, endless class across the industry. Shout out to Serena Deeb and what she's done with the NWA Women's Championship, now held by Camille, who, in my opinion, I think James is like the modern day China. She has been an incredible champion this year. Someone finally ended Nick Aldis's incredible reign. Might not have been the person we expected, but overall, I don't hate it. And the return of British Invasion, I'm all for it. But there's just been so much good this year. So I want to, Casey, you already kind of started this. I want to go around and give everybody spots towards what are some of your favorite matches, keyword, matches this year. Eric, I'll start with
because
you.
there's a lot.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Number one has been the thing I called to happen this year. Hangman versus Kenny Omega.
There you go. The
Number two.
2.5-year storyline culminating. Continue.
Yes. Number two, Hangman versus Bryan Danielson.
60 freaking minute draw. What the hell?
Third is, once again, conveniently, Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega.
King can talk about that. I'm sure that was on his list too. 30-minute draw on Grand Slam in a 20,000 seat capacity venue full of professional wrestling fans that didn't want that match to end. Classic, instant classic.
Number four, and this might surprise you, Roman Reigns versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan. You see where this theme seems to be going with?
Yes, absolutely. And I give credit due. All three men, they each made a claim towards why you should think they should be the champion and why they were in that main event. Honest to God, if I was to give some kudos to something non-NXT UK and WWE and non-Black and Gold NXT, that probably be one of three matches that I would.
And number five in my top five, Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker.
Of course. And again, we're all waiting for the culmination where we believe that Thunder Rosa will be the next AEW Women's World Champion. While we've seen Ty Conti, King, go forward and had an incredible effort, but lost, we also saw Chris Statlander pull out more emotion than Orange Cassidy. I think Orange Cassidy had. I did not think that was possible. In a hell of a battle. And we've also, of course, seen the return of Ruby Soho, who had a pretty good bout on Grand Slam as well, as Dr. Britt Baker now looks to.
And I have something, and because WWE has made colossal mess ups this year and that last year, let's go ahead and do something a little bit different. Top 10 WWE screw ups of 2021, probably.
Well, I think we all can culminate on that together. I'll go ahead and start this off. Let's see. First screw up of 2021 I could think of. R.I.P. the Demon. Who builds a ring from IKEA during the Universal Championship match? Are you fucking kidding me? He lost because the rope exploded. Oh, conveniently, because God came back from Backlash 2006.
Damn
Bullshit.
it.
Anyway,
You want to know the sad thing? You want to know the sad thing, though, about that match?
What?
I had never found a report or anything to explain what the hell happened. Nothing ever came out about that.
That'd be too much like right. Of course not. Okay, so there's one. Oh,
here's number two.
Okay,
I could just say all the releases they did, but that's the obvious one. So, but here's the one that I will laugh at for the rest of my days.
Oh, here we go.
WWE thinking Tommy End was signed to a 90-day no-compete clause, only to find out it was 30 days when he showed up on Dynamite out of nowhere.
And Malachi
the House of Black was arrived that night.
And Malachi Black was born.
And WWE was forever embarrassed to realize, hey, we had this guy on our main roster for about 2 years now. Did anyone look to update his contract?
That'd be too easy.
We forgot.
There's one more I want to mention for my personal list. You want to know what the other one is? And I'm pretty sure people forgot about this.
Well, I'm just going to do an honorable mention before you mention your thing. Fuck zombies, Backlash, WrestleMania Backlash.
Besides that.
Fucking stupid. Go ahead.
At least that's just WWE being stupid. You want to know the one? The trash bag scandal with Mickie James.
Oh, yeah.
And what that revealed.
The fact that, once again, this is not the company you look towards for professional wrestling and doesn't
not that.
Women's wrestling or, honestly, women. But I will turn the coin here to something positive. Thank you, Mickie James, Billy Corgan, and NWA for a hell of a respectable showcasing and presentation and honoring of women's professional wrestling with Empower. What a show that was. And legit, Hurt and Camille, they tore the house down. That was an incredible show. I love that show, top to bottom.
I'm hoping for an Empower too here next.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping for
I hope it's an annual thing.
I'm hoping they make a shot saying, hey, we kept our end of the bargain this time.
Well, I mean, also Impact, they did their Knockouts Throwdown, which brought back Mercedes Martinez to the professional wrestling scene, now being more involved in Impact. We also saw Masha Slamovich take on Deonna Purrazzo, and the women honoring a late great loss, Daphne, in a wild Monsters Ball match where Kimberly definitely represented Daphne Proud the most, I think, during that match. One of my favorite wrestlers to watch this year, for sure. Anyway, King.
So, Casey King, what are your WWE screw-ups that will probably be destroyed?
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about your screw-ups first, and then, King, we'll go back to you for your favorite matches this year. So, Casey, all right. When did WWE fuck up the most for you?
All right. Here's one of my ones. It's gonna be Karrion Kross, number one.
Mm-hmm.
Because how in the hell could you mess up a guy like this by putting on a stupid ninja helmet on him and bringing the dude out in suspenders like he's wearing a
go ninja, go
shirt. Like he's wearing a suspender shirt. Then you take away Charlotte from being his manager, then away his smoking lights, and think, oh, it's all gonna work. It's all gonna work out. It's playing out. Well, how did that go? Didn't go so well, did it? You literally fucked the guy up because he had a perfect gimmick where he came out with Scarlet, excuse me. But
Botch.
because Scarlet is what made Karrion Kross's entrance. She is what made his entrance. And when
no
he
doubt.
took her away from him, he was never the same guy again.
Nope.
And Adam Cole called it best in a promo one time on NXT Black and Gold. He just said that I remember he said in the promo that when they take away the lights in the girl, you're gonna be a nobody. It turns out Adam Cole was absolutely right.
He wasn't shooting. He wasn't shooting straight from there.
Because he's seen it coming from a mile away, Adam Cole. And he left for AEW because they told Adam Cole that they wanted to cut his hair and change his name because they didn't want it to get it confused with Michael Cole. And props to Adam Cole for leaving for AEW and getting the hell out of there so fast. And number two, screw up on my list is William Rotunda, where they messed up the theme, as we all know.
Yep.
And number 3 is Keith Lee. This guy had a perfect gimmick in Keith Lee, where he had the best entrance theme, "Oh, bask in my glory," and he used to come out to that, and he was so over with the crowd that they were started to sing his entrance theme, and it turns out they didn't like that. You know, we gotta change this time. We gotta change Keith Lee's entrance theme into something generic metal bullshit theme that did not match him at all. And then here's another one. They changed him in the Bearcat.
Oh jeez, I was hoping nobody would bring that up.
Hell, kind of name
knew that was coming.
Bearcat Keith Lee. No, thank you. How I remember him is Keith Limitless. Not Keith Bearcat Lee. And number 4, that is right up there, is Dominic Dijakovac, where you changed his name to T-Bar. Because what the hell kind of name is T-Bar?
But to be fair, they did that last year when Retribution became part of the WWE.
It's named after a huge bar with the letter T written on it. Is that where they got the idea from?
Maybe that's a tool. I don't know.
Boggles my mind. That just boggles my mind. And number 5.
All right, this will round him out.
Number 5 screw up of all time.
In your opinion.
In my honest opinion, is
The suspense.
damn. Number 5, I got one. Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley.
Yep.
How could you mess up a strong woman who can play who has the capability of playing a badass to perfection in this brutality role? Because you messed up Miss Demi Bennett, who's known as Rhea Ripley, and you messed up this lady's character by having her team with Nikki Cross.
That's Nikki ASH.
I like to remember her as Nikki Cross.
I know, but I'm just saying, if you're gonna talk about the screw up,
Nikki Ash Ketchum.
talk about the screw up.
I don't like to remember her as Nikki Ash because Nikki Ash, that's another one.
Don't forget Ketchum.
Big time.
Stop with the Pokemon references.
Nikki Ash is another one. Nikki Cross is another one that you messed up big time because Nikki Cross had a crazy gimmick where she was literally a part of Sandy, and she used to run to the ring like that, and she had a perfect gimmick as well. Until you messed her up by turning her into a superhero gimmick.
Well, to be fair,
Playing
that
devil's
was her
advocate.
idea.
Yep.
But the
Yep.
problem is they
Oh,
should have
okay.
explained it. They should have
Yeah.
like they could have given Nikki Cross a dissociative identity disorder. Split.
Well,
Yeah,
movie.
like, some sort of origin story, kind of like
Yeah.
your girl with Dakota Kai when she came back after her match with Raquel Gonzalez at Takeover as well for the National Women's Championship. Came up short, came back, screwed Raquel. They had a short feud with the War Games, and then you saw your girl lost last week on Tuesday
To a trash can.
to a trash can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh! I got another one that they screwed up on.
Oh Lord, what is it, Eric?
It was after they fired all these people and they were still making merchandise off of them.
Which they
Anyways,
still are.
buy this
Yeah.
Keith Lee holiday themed gear. It's definitely not exploitative.
Buy this Fiend Funko Pop. Expect Adam Cole and half the roster eliminated to be used in recycled assets in your next W2K video game, which I'm so not getting.
Same here.
All right. Well, good stuff or bad stuff, Casey. Let's see if King can add anything different to that. So first off, King, it was the good times, it was the bad times. Talk about the stuff that made you question yourself as a enthusiast of Twisted Tapes. And then talk about your favorite matches this year in all things wrestling. The floor is yours.
What made me stop watching full time was the death of the black and gold brand as we all know and love as NXT. That was the final nail in the coffin for me, was basically like, those were the best 4 years of professional wrestling underneath the WWE banner, because it gave us the best takeovers, it gave us the best matches, it gave us what we fans have craved for the main roster to do. Just take from NXT and what they do and implement that into the main roster. I mean, for Christ's sake, look at November 2019. Look at November 2019 on that episode of SmackDown between Adam Cole and Daniel Bryan for the NXT Championship.
Mm-hmm.
And I still say it to this day, that is the best SmackDown that they have ever produced. Like, ever. Like, nothing has topped that SmackDown since, in my opinion, because that's what happens when we implement NXT's like elements into the main roster.
And I still, I still remember shocking Noah with what I told him about that night, besides, the mechanical crisis. I remember telling Noah this, and he was shocked by it for about a good 10 minutes when I told him that Vince was the one that booked Adam Cole to beat Bryan, not the screw job finish they could have done.
Which I remember you saying that when we do our Zoom watch alongs, and I was like, what? Like,
yeah, that was the moment Vince realized, if I'm going to kill AEW, I'm actually going to have to ask for help.
Yeah, the moment that he realized he is vulnerable, and he hasn't realized it since. Continue, Ken.
But it's like the death of the black and gold brand, when they want to do Nickelodeon Kids Choice Awards color slime paint NXT 2.0.
My eyes.
Like you took from what Ciampa said, because I still remember when he kept that promo against when it was him, Riddle, and Keith Lee, and it was in the ring with the OC. And I remember him saying, "Boys, welcome to the main roster."
Damn right.
And what you think about it, NXT was our third brand. That was the third brand that could literally make sense out of all of this, out of all the mess that we had to hear about for Mondays and Thursdays at the time, Mondays and Tuesdays at the time, whenever SmackDown was on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
So that was our our medicine for professional wrestling under the black and gold era. That brought us joy. That's what brought us talking about our favorite matches, our favorite members, our favorite tag teams, our favorite superstars. We can just literally go on for hours about. And now, yep. And now let's transition into my top 5 matches of this year.
Good luck,
This
dude.
one, I've had a top 5, and I'm surprised none of you have said this. Number 5, I'm going with Kazuchika Okada and Buddy Matthews from Battle of the Valley in San Jose.
Oh, all right. I like that a lot. An exhibition match.
Number 4, Kenny Omega and Sami Callihan from Slammiversary, which you saw there live.
I did.
I hate you for that. I still hate you for that to this day a little bit.
I fucking got to call V-Trigger live. That was awesome. Anyway, continue.
Number three, I gotta give it to Omega and Danielson. Omega and Danielson, I give the number 3.
The ultimate dream match of 2 men in a white shirt, just proving who the greater professional wrestler is, and it still isn't settled.
Number 2, oh my goodness. Number 2, I'm gonna have to give it to GCW on this one between Moxley and Gage.
Yes, for the GCW Heavyweight Championship. God, those two killed each other. And McFoley was there for that match.
Imagine Mick Foley just basically saying, you know what? I love doing this. But number 1, it's obvious. All Out 2021 steel cage match between the Young Bucks and the Lucha Bros.
2 pair of brothers that literally will kill each other to outdo one another. And literally, they nearly did. And the Lucha Brothers dethroned the Young Bucks at All Out for the AEW Tag Team Championships.
With Mikey Ruckus performing their song.
Which Mikey Ruckus had me hyped, and I was going for the Bucks, but dang, did he had me hyped on that entrance.
You can't argue with the storytelling, with the hype, and with the risk both those teams took inside, keyword, inside that freaking steel cage. Good God.
Yes, and Matt, from one Nike Air Jordan connoisseur to another, don't put thumbtacks on them Travis Scotts ever again. Do not put thumbtacks on them Nike Air Jordan Travis Scotts ever again. Don't do that. That's ruining a good shoe. That ruins a $475 pair of shoe.
They can afford it. They can afford it. They were going back to the PWG roots. But King, honorable mention. What was one of your favorite women's matches this year?
Honorable mention. And y'all haven't talked about this neither. The trilogy of Serena Deeb and Hikaru Shida.
Yes.
I actually am a little surprised you didn't mention Serena Deeb versus Rio for the NWA Championship.
Yeah, that was the opener too.
That's a close second.
When they finally had fans back in attendance.
Yes, but Eric, that is a close second. But when you look at Sheeta and you look at Deeb, they just gel so together in that ring. It's basically magic in that ring between those ladies.
They bring out the best in each other. And as far as Deeb goes, she will never be done with Sheeta until she feels like she's done with her. And kudos to Deeb now being a producer for the AEW women's roster. Just like Gail Kim now is a manager in Impact Wrestling for the Knockouts. And to this day, I still think the Knockouts is the best women's division, non-all women's promotion out in professional wrestling today. AEW, they're slowly becoming better. And I really think there's huge potential, especially with the TBS Championship now in existence. We have no idea what to expect with this title. Will it be treated like the TNT title for a women's side? Will this be used to introduce the Forbidden Door in women's professional wrestling in AEW? Especially with the fact, guys, AEW, they moved to TBS next week. The TNT era for Wednesday Night Dynamite ends this week.
That's right.
Kind of wild when you think about it.
All right. I got top 5 matches of mine.
All right, go for it.
Number 1 on my list is I gotta give it to Kenny Omega, Bryan Danielson.
I don't think you could top that match, honestly, because of the outrage, because of the connection, because of the two wrestlers involved.
number one, because that match is literally a masterpiece from start to finish. And Kenny Omega is called the best bout machine in wrestling for a reason.
And Bryan Danielson, the American Dragon, believes he's the greatest professional wrestler.
And Kenny Omega, I gotta give it to him. Guy goes out there and gives it 100% and makes sure a match is literally perfect. That's the kind of guy Kenny Omega is. He's literally a perfectionist that wants to have a great match. And number two, Deonna Purrazzo versus Mickie James at Bound for Glory.
And the day the Virtuoso was dethroned.
That match, women's match, was pretty damn awesome between those two.
Mm-hmm.
Both of those ladies absolutely killed it that night in that very ring. And number three is Kenny Omega,
Yeah.
Adam Hangman Page for the AEW World title.
Combination. The combination.
Kenny Omega. I mean, he was working with a bad shoulder in that match. And he literally crushed the hell
And
out
knees.
And knees.
It's pretty much, he was like a walking medical, like, skeleton, pretty much.
And we thought Hiroshi Tanahashi was broken goods.
Right. He literally impressed the hell out of all of us that night versus Adam Page for the AEW World title. And number four is Walter versus Ilya Dragunov.
Yes.
Yes, the
Yeah.
end of the
And
the end of the Black and Gold takeover.
General.
UK title at TakeOver 36.
That
Those
match.
two
Oh my
absolute
God, that match.
for the
Hard hitting,
down,
power, just
hard hitting affair.
Elis,
Those
Jesus.
guys did not stop going. They could literally wrestle at 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning. That's how great of the
Yeah,
match.
until either broke Walter's neck nearly.
I have
Yep.
an honorable mention to add to that, and I don't
Go
think
ahead.
anybody has said it. And this is what it's basically still boggles my mind how we got it on free YouTube television.
Yeah, I know what you're gonna say. Damn it. Go ahead and say it.
Brian Danielson and Minoru Suzuki.
Casanare.
Oh,
Holy hell.
wow. I didn't even think of that. And
What a war.
damn.
Okay,
right.
I gotta ask.
Go ahead.
Who's worthy of wrestler of the year? Brian Danielson,
I knew
Daniel
he was gonna
Bryan,
ask that.
or Kenny Omega?
I knew he was going to get down to this. I knew he was going to get down to
I
this.
said we're going to talk about all things wrestling in our retrospective. We just talked about matches, and let's face it, there are at least hundreds of matches we can mention that are great, but only so few go beyond that where you're like, my God, this match will be remembered for all time. And I think you guys covered a pretty good scope of that for men and women and the tag team match of the year, in my opinion. The only one I would put next to that is freaking Dangerous Tekkers versus Naito and Sonata at the freaking Grand Slam in Tokyo Dome, but I digress. Now, wrestler of the year, holy hell. All right, let me talk a little bit for a moment. Let's look at the wrestlers we're talking about here as a whole. Kenny Omega, the best belt machine, the belt collector. He wrestled across 3 different promotions and held 4 titles. He was part of the 2.5-year saga in culminating a Hangman Adam Page as your next leading champion of AEW. Everybody he's been in the ring with has continued to flourish because they were with that man who put them forward, whether it was championship match or non-championship match. Alan Angels for one. And then on top of that, while doing this, he was constantly injured with an injury list longer than the list of Jericho probably. Now the man finally takes rest after nearly having this title for a year, taking it off Jon Moxley and pushing AEW forward. That is the
also,
best bout machine, Kenny Omega.
But you forgot one more important thing.
Go for it.
Despite the fact that he was wrestling hurt with vertigo, with knee injuries, with bruises, with bone bruises, with tailbone injuries, and he was being told, "Okay, Kenny, so Kenny, what do you want to do? I want to do death matches."
And then he went to Impact Wrestling.
But guys, listen, that was just basically Kenny wrestling hurt. Wait till Kenny is fully healed up. You don't think that he's been looking at Brian and saying that he's been making pace to becoming a wrestler of the year? You don't think Kenny is realizing that right now while he's recovering? Wait till a fully healed Kenny.
Yeah. Considering Kenny Omega was PWI's Wrestler of the Year, well done, deserved. And might I add, some of the matches he had while he was a champion in some promotion, Moose, Sami Callihan, Orange Cassidy, and Pac in the same match, I might add.
And then he would later fight Jungle Boy. He would fight Christian Cage. He would twice. He would fight Andrade.
Andrade was the one I was going to mention because my God, that match at Triple Mania.
For that Triple
Second
and then you had Ric Flair. And then you had Ric Flair show up and chop Kenny Omega in the middle of a AAA ring.
Who would have thought you ever see Kenny Omega and Ric Flair in the same ring, though? I'm just saying. And let's talk about honorable mentions for the Mega Championship. In the very beginning of the year, he took on Rey Fenix.
Yes.
And that is a match people need to remember for so many reasons. My God. That is Kenny Omega. Now, you talk about some other wrestlers. Let's talk about the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, a.k.a. Daniel Bryan. The man that's been in action all year, half of it from the WWE, half it from AEW. Eric, I believe you want to talk about this retrospective. Go for it.
Okay. Last match, he fought Roman Reigns. Last match out of WWE, he fights Roman Reigns. First match in AEW, he fights Kenny Omega. Probably the closest we'll ever get to Roman Reigns and Kenny Omega locking horns.
Pretty much. Yes.
Yeah.
Bryan Danielson and Daniel Bryan.
Like, Kenny Omega worked 3 different promotions. Bryan worked for 2 of the biggest promotions in the world currently.
Yes.
Which is saying.
And many believe he gave Roman Reigns his best match of his Universal Championship reign and one of the best matches this year in WWE. Maybe that's a stretch, but then again, you know the working with these 2. But he definitely pulled all the stops out on the road to WrestleMania and in that triple threat at WrestleMania as well. And then, like you said, he came to AEW and AEW All Out. And who was the very first person he went after? Fucking Kenny Omega himself. And those 2 had a 3-minute draw.
There's actually a third guy I can mention for Dark Horse of the Year.
Go for it.
Dark Horse of the Year, I feel like, I can't believe I'm going to say this, goes to Matt Cardona.
You know what? I gotta admit, the guy that is the most underrated probably in professional wrestling. He set himself an Impact. He made a name for himself in Impact Wrestling. He pissed
off GCW.
Yes.
Yes. And he even said, "Thank you, WWE, for my developmental. WWE was my developmental."
And now he's going after the NWA 10 pounds of gold. He literally is trying to take over, pun intended, the wrestling industry. Honorable mention I would give Matt Cardona. But
there's another honorable mention. He's currently trying to become the new belt collector, Will Ospreay.
Will Ospreay.
The leader of the United Empire that rose this year. Started off with a match of year candidate against Rainmaker Kazuchika Okada. Go ahead, Eric.
I got someone better. I got someone better for honorable mention.
Yeah, we got a few, I'm sure.
He could have won the G1 instantaneously. Jeff Cobb.
Oh, Jeff Cobb.
He went the whole way and lost in the very end. But my God, what a performance!
I betted that he was going to be the one that wins it all because he's just that over at the moment.
If it wasn't going to be him, for God's sake, it could have been Zack Sabre Jr. I was rooting for both those men. Damn it.
And it led to what could have been a main event classic turned into a what just happened ending for the G1 climax.
That's going to be one of the most negative G1 climax finales in memory for sure. Because Kota Ibushi went for broke and broke himself.
And even worse, if this really happened. Even worse. Toru Yano winning the thing.
Did he just say what I thought he just said?
Oh, Yano won King of Pro Wrestling again. I forgot about that.
This
Yeah, he
dude,
won again this week.
If you guys don't know, and for those that are watching, me and Noah are not big fans of Toru Yano. We are not big fans whatsoever. This dude literally gives us like rants.
Why?
It gives Noah anxiety. It gives me a headache.
Why?
It's just
Why? Who can stop this freaking
I
idiot?
swear on my 27 years of living on this God's green earth, on January 5th, I better not see him on night 2 in the King of Pro Wrestling 4-way match. If it does happen, you will see it from.
He said for that.
You will see me on Twitter. Y'all will see my video reaction on Twitter going ballistic. You heard it here first.
Stop it! Stop it! Bring back the King of Pro Wrestling show! Kill this concept! You got drinking during a freaking match and you freaking win with the low blow.
Just like, oh my God.
Okay, I'm trying to rewind.
Toru
Yano.
Yano is worse than Steiner Mass. There, I said it. He's worse than Steiner Mass.
I agree with you. Anyway.
Taz is great.
God,
Taz Math.
Anyway, okay, so we got Brian Danielson, Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega, Jeff Cobb, fuck Toriano. I'm gonna put some respect on the women's side, and I definitely say she may not have been fully in action this year, but she has been the mainstay focus of AEW this year in more ways than I can count. That's Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. I gotta give it to Britt Baker, who finally dethroned Sheeta after she held the title for a year, successfully defended against a rival from her past, Nyla Rose. Now going to go up against Rico, defended successfully against Ty Conti, again, sorry, King, Chris Statlander, and Ruby Soho. And even when she was in the ring, she always is talked about, always is the face. To the point now, she's endorsed as one of the pillars by another man we'll talk about when it comes to our moments this year. But before we get to that topic, okay, wrestler of the year, if I have to pick one, objectively, as a fan, I gotta fucking go with Kenny Omega. Again, the man did it across 3 promotions, broken body and all, probably broken.
And death matches galore.
Yes, and dark matches galore, whether it was tag or singles or trios or with the elites, giving us some of our favorite cosplays this year, including but not limited to Space Jam and Ghostbusters. Kenny Omega.
I ain't afraid no budge.
Yeah.
I ain't afraid of no bud. Y'all ready for this? Dun, 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 dun.
I gotta give it to Kenny Omega, bar none. While Brian Danielson has been on fire 10 times over as the American Dragon, he's only done 13 matches so far. And while 2 of them are match of the year candidates in a draw aspect, it's Kenny Omega who literally did more so his time as champion versus challenger when it came to his warfare he brought forward in everything he's given us professional wrestling. So my wrestler of the year this year, it is Kenny Omega. Casey, you're next. Who is your, objectively, wrestler of the year?
So I got to go with wrestler of the year. It's definitely, I'm with you on this one, Noah. It's Kenny, by God, Omega.
There you go.
Because Kenny Omega tore up his body to go into the different promotions for the Forbidden Door, and he gave us some of the best matches of his in-ring career, all while working hurt. And he defended all these titles and gave us instant classic matches from start to finish that were all masterpieces. And for that, I have a lot of respect for Kenny Omega, and to do all that is very impressive on what Kenny Omega has done working hard, because not a lot of guys would do that like Kenny Omega.
Push themselves that far either.
And
Jesus.
I mean, so therefore, I got to go with Kenny Omega on Wrestler of the Year because, in my honest opinion, I think you'd be out of your damn mind if you do not pick Kenny Omega for Wrestler of the Year. Because Kenny Omega is literally one of the hardest working men in all of professional wrestling that puts his body on the line day in and day out. And that I absolutely admire 100%. The guy has a lot of heart and he could put on instant classics from start to finish, and all of his matches are literally all masterpieces.
I just want to give honorable mentions to some other great ones, including Josh Alexander of Impact Wrestling, who held the X Division title and became world champion for a moment. Went toe-to-toe with the King and now faces Jonah, who we'll talk about also among other people, I'm sure. Next year at Hard to Kill, I also want to give a mention again to the Virtuosa, Deonna Purrazzo, who wants to bring forward women's professional wrestling and really push for that forbidden door, brought herself forward and has truly become one of the top-tier stars in all of professional wrestling, not just women, not just Nagos, not just Impact either. Her technical game and how far she pushes to evolve herself, very few others try and do. But I will give credit where credit is due. Politicking, booking, and blinders aside, I will not deny the work ethic brought forward by when it comes to his cinematic portrayal. And when it's not a botchy finish, I gotta give respect where credit's due. Roman Reigns, you've had a hell of a year and a hell of a run with Universal Championship too. I will not deny what you have done. Right, by yourself, carrying that company on your shoulders too. But kudos to Biggie, who finally made it where so many people want him to be, but I just wish they would acknowledge him better. And say what you will about Charlotte, whether it's booking or whether maybe she is losing her mind or maybe it's both. There's a reason why Charlotte is a champion and why she pushes so many. I'll admit, I saw the Toni Storm match. I thought for a moment, Charlotte and Toni Storm had a pretty damn good clash. Look like she was trying to push Toni Storm to bring out more. It's almost like Charlotte, I think, wants more competition, but she's not getting it. So who's really wrong in that scenario? Well, maybe we'll talk about that when it comes to booking psychology and wrestler mentality later, because I'll give credit to Charlotte Flair. You've had a hell of a year as a wrestler too, including the very first pay-per-view with people. Money in the Bank, I gotta give credit due. That match with Rhea Ripley was probably Rhea and Charlotte's best one-on-one clash to date. That being said, King, you're up. In your objective opinion, who is your wrestler of the year?
Oh my goodness. First off, I'm gonna give out some honorable mentions here.
Please do.
For one, I really do think because one, I think he brought back the most prestigious belt in New Japan's history when he won G1. That man goes to the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada, first of all, in which I can't wait. Yes. And when I first saw that he brought back the prestigious IWGP Heavyweight Championship of the world, I was, oh, yes, the best belt. Oh my God. I was like, this is why he knows his stuff. Now, oh my God, if I were to narrow it down like to wrestler of the year, I'm big on Brian, always have been, always will be. And he's been with the company for 3 months and he has put on nothing but bangers of matches he's ever been in. The storytelling, the psychology in the ring, it's not like we were used to when we used to watch him in his WWE run. And I'll take it a step further. I think he's even better than his ROH run with this version of the American Dragon.
I can't argue because
yeah, I think this is the best version of the American Dragon we've got, and that's better than his ROH run. But I'm gonna stick where it stands. I gotta go with Kenny. Being wrestler of the year because still to this day, the man has basically, and I watched his interview with Dr. Bo Hightower. Go check that out if you guys haven't, with his chiropractic session.
Yeah,
with
that
Dr. Bo
thumbnail tells
Hightower.
a whole lot more than you think.
Yeah, he's told, and he's even said that he has to learn a new skill of wrestling in the ring while his vision is in circles. Like that takes a lot of skill while being hurt, while you dealing with vertigo and all other negatives.
And I would like to just mention this. He's had this since 2018. Now think of all the matches he had to support.
And that was at Wrestle Kingdom against Hiroshi Tanahashi, because I remember that.
Yes.
I remember that match.
Yes,
so
he came out one last time as the IWGP champion.
Yep, and to think you've been dealing with that for 3 years, and you've been learning that new skill to basically wrestle in a ring while basically your vision is moving in circles. That takes a lot of freaking skill while doing it hurt at the same time. And that's why I think people that are now realizing the greatness we have with Kenny Omega, when we need to appreciate it more and respect it more while he's still wrestling, while he's still here and giving us fans the best pro wrestling matches that he could possibly ever to date. Because like I even said earlier, if that's basically I wouldn't say a broken down, but a hurt and nagging injury Kenny Omega, can you imagine 100% Kenny Omega again? Like, I don't think AEW's ready for that.
You remember what happened when Kenny Omega faced Okada? Just saying.
Yeah, if you guys remember Okada and Omega's series,
quadrilogy.
Yes, trilogy. Quadrilogy for that matter. Yeah, quadrilogy. If you fans remember that, you already know what to expect. But if you fans are just basically, like, I wouldn't say new, but have been knowing this forbidden door in AEW, watch AEW more often than you do
watch anything non-WWE.
Then other sports entertainment, then buckle up, because the Kenny Omega, a fully healed Kenny Omega, is basically you're gonna be oohing and ahhing, and you're gonna be basically like, yeah, this guy ain't human. This guy's a Terminator.
You want to know what I said? You want to know what I said they should do next year?
What do you think they should do?
I said this. PWI should go ahead and have a tie with Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson, and then they say, okay, the only way to sell this is a shoot wrestle match.
Yeah.
Oh God, they'll never stop wrestling.
God.
They'll never stop wrestling.
They won't stop wrestling.
You told me about the longest match in New Japan wrestling history. I guarantee you they were trying to
told us that.
Guys, I just thought of this. What if we get Johnny Gargano coming to AEW in Cleveland?
I have an update on that.
Please.
I'm gonna say I think I know this update. Go ahead.
I think I know this update too. But I think I'm in for something very special in Cleveland. But anyway, continue, Casey.
Here's what I was about to say.
Go ahead.
Can you imagine Johnny Gargano versus 100% healthy Kenny Omega?
Yes.
In a one-on-one match.
Yes.
And an AEW at let's say AEW Double or Nothing down the road, and that match took place at Double or Nothing.
Well, we know we got Revolution coming up, and nothing's known for that yet.
Kenny Omega and Johnny Gargano, that will be right up there with one of the greatest matches of Kenny Omega's career.
It could be the match of the year for 2022 if it happens.
Yeah, if it happens. Because Kenny Omega at 100% is one scary dude as professional wrestler.
Just go watch Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yep. When he's 100%, there's no stopping Kenny Omega. That guy is on the go. He's a ultimate born competitor.
Tomohiro Ishii had to break his jaw and rip his lip almost off his mouth to beat Kenny Omega in the G1. Just saying. Yeah. Anyway, Eric, and shout out to Tomohiro Ishii, by the way, my boy, the best never overweight champion to have this year heading into Wrestle Kingdom, the Stone Pitbull, the guy that you have to kill to virtually beat in professional wrestling. G1 Climax beat MVP, and he and Moose, they went double the time at Resurgence, my favorite match from Resurgence, but I digress. Eric, you're the last one left for this topic. In your subjective opinion, who was your wrestler of the year?
It's hard to really say. I'm actually torn between three people.
Do so.
Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson are the obvious ones.
Yeah.
The third one is Hangman, considering what this year was.
Yes. The story, the biggest story this year, the culmination. And we saw the ups and downs. I thought he was going to get the moment, hear it all out. No, that didn't happen. Oh, he had a child.
He's going to be a father.
And then he came back afterwards, big pop in Philly of all places. That is a heartland of professional wrestling.
That's a wrestling
especially
city.
given what happened prior after he disappeared.
Yeah.
Everyone was saying Hangman's done. He's not going to get pops ever again. He's not going to get it.
Over.
Now it's like, nope, he's back. He's popular. He's still popular. Eat it.
And then we're still behind him and Kenny Omega and Don Callis even trying to make sure that he was not ready for this match, signing his last will, it seemed, in blood. And then we saw Full Gear. It finally came to fruition and past sins forgiven. What a way to culminate.
And there you got the whole what would Coda think?
Yeah, when that you could tell when Kenny Omega saw that sign, that was the retrospective you needed right there for this match to know, yeah, this is it. This is it. It's not going to go 46 minutes like Jay but this is it.
Here's something I did want to say about Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson's match. The one biggest highlight for me wasn't even in the match. It was Don Callis doing something.
What?
In that match.
Besides having a spasm?
Well, besides that, he turns around and sees a fan holding having an ECW shirt on, and he just seems like, I'm having a non-flashback now.
The dark days.
Because the last time he and Paul Heyman had history, Paul Heyman wrecked his head with a walkie-talkie.
I remember that. Oh my God. There's been so many incredible things to appreciate in professional wrestling this year, and so many greats. But I think we hit the nail on the head with the top three great men, top tag teams. It's gotta be FTR, it's gotta be Young Bucks, and top women, again, Deonna Purrazzo, Britt Baker, and I'm gonna say Utami, because again, she broke the Dave Meltzer scale. That's gotta count for something.
Also, I have something for shocking debuts of the year.
So let's go ahead and move into our next time when we talk about the moments of professional wrestling this year. From the returns to the upsets to the past.
Two legends coming home.
Yes. I don't think I need to even speak anything because I don't think we're all going to disagree or have a bigger moment than what Eric's going to say. So Eric, speak now and let it be known.
The first dance. CM Punk. CM Punk.
CM Punk. Yes, yes, fucking yes. The man, the best in the world, returned to professional wrestling in AEW. And all it took was just a simple name to sell out a venue of 20,000 plus.
For 1 hour. For just 1 hour.
Lights flicker, the chants begin, and you hear the static, and King hypes up the song every time he hypes up Dynamite on his Instagram, and there's the man himself, CM Punk. Eric, you need to put your retrospective on this moment. How big, how important it was.
Okay, here's the best way.
Yes, put the retrospective on this for us, dude.
Okay, here's the best way to describe it. Okay, WWE does this. We're going to sell out SummerSlam, this large venue, with big time matches, the return of John Cena, the return of so many great names. We're going to have Edge and Seth Rollins. We're going to sell out the arena, and just before it happens, yeah. AEW's response, we're going to make CM Punk references. We're sold.
In the United Center, where, may I remind you, that is the arena that the stadium that Mike Gordon built, and you had that sold within like that without even mentioning the man's name.
Or even have a card. They were told 1 hour show. Okay. That's
Exactly.
cool.
1 hour show.
We didn't know what
No
to expect.
matches, no matches, just
Nothing.
references.
Nothing. Just freaking nothing.
Just references.
The worst
and it all
kept
started
secret in
and
professional wrestling history.
and Punk admitted it, but he said that's what he wanted to go, and it all started when Darby Allin said, "I'll be in Chicago to see who really is the best in the world."
Yes.
Yeah, and then you gotta remember, MGF says, Chris Jericho, while you're probably sitting there hopefully in more pain than you ever felt, referencing the pipe bomb. Then you got the Young Bucks doing CM Punk moves. And it's like,
and then you have Kenny Omega wearing a Cookie Monster t-shirt, cutting a promo.
Yes.
Yeah, that should have told you that AEW was special, because they managed to just sell out that gigantic stadium on references.
And I think
an NBA arena at that.
Yeah, and here's the thing. They haven't had a big wrestling venue match like that since the SummerSlam of yesteryears.
Yeah, back when they were short and relevant and actually worthwhile. But instead, you got the biggest moment, in my opinion, of 2021 professional wrestling, CM Punk returning. And
yes,
you just feel the entrance, you feel the energy, you feel how important and big it was, the emotion, that place shook its foundation with the fact.
And the fan cries.
Oh,
and basically broke the Guinness World Record of big loudest pop in a crowd.
Yeah.
Oh, and we all hate Lex for this, that he was there.
Yeah,
we kind of hate him for that.
Look, let's be honest here, though. Each one of us has had a chance to witness and enjoy live professional wrestling history in some capacity. I saw some adversity where I got to see Thunder Rosa, Deon Purrazzo, Sammy Conley, Kenny Omega.
Speaking of that, there's actually a number 2.
Well, I know it's not the only one. I'm feeling that shit.
Yeah. I know. Okay, so speaking of wrestling, there's actually a number. For my top 5. Several are obvious, but here's the one that actually is number 2 for me, and this is the shocking one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Switchblade at Slammiversary.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. And the day that King's brain started going haywire because the Bullet Club Civil War was teased, and in my opinion, still teased, because
still is teased.
God showed up at Resurgence, went face to face with Good Brothers.
And King had a moment. Everybody.
And King,
yes,
God
I did.
is not booked for Wrestle Kingdom.
But guess what? That's not the only thing I got to worry about, guys. Remember, Noah, you said it at the start of the show. 2022 is a tricky year for me, because now that Kyle O'Reilly has inserted himself into the picture, we could go two ways. And if y'all watched Being the Elite this morning, Adam told Matt and Nick saying, I still have unfinished business with Kyle O'Reilly. So we can go 2 ways. We can go Adam for Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly, and we could pick up where we left off from NXT.
Oh, Lord.
Or there's going to be another Civil War happening, an elite Civil Warfare happening between when Kenny comes back. We have Kenny and the Bucks versus those 3 men.
Wait, King. I can make it worse for you.
Yes, he can.
Oh, good. Yeah, I know he can, but go ahead and lay it on me.
Undisputed Elite versus the Elite versus versus Bullet Club, Jay Whiteo and the Tongas, Guerrilla of Destiny.
Look, here's the thing, and I just want to bring this up as a retrospective. J.O. is Bullet Club truly for life. They are the deal makers. They are the OFNGs. They own this year in singles competition, given their best in the G1, where might I add, Tama Tonga beat Okada. And now we have God, who came this close again, winning the World Tag League, but came up short, and now are not even part of Wrestle Kingdom. I can't remember the last time that happened in any capacity. Now we know Jay White is also here in America. So you got Jay White and God. No idea what they're planning to do next. Jay White calling out Adam Cole, literally recently on that assist. And God, that face-to-face has to friggin' fall somewhere with the Good Brothers, who still, might I add, have the Impact Tag Team Championships, which means God has a reason and purpose to go after them.
So here's the thing. Not only do you have the possibility of even a three-way war between the three groups,
yes,
but you also got to remember, Tama Tonga has declared himself the gatekeeper of Bullet Club against Jay White.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. That is absolutely correct.
Whenever a leader has been thrown out or turned against in Bullet Club, it all reverts back to the deal maker initiating Tonga. I'm going to make a bold prediction here right now for next year. Tama Tonga will become the new leader of Bullet Club.
That's a safe bet.
That's a safe bet. That really is a safe bet.
You want crazy predictions? I'll give you crazy effing predictions.
All right, talk to us. Let me talk to you.
Okay, give it to us.
Okay, think this. ATW is partnered with Warner Media essentially at this point.
Yes.
Correct.
Next year, and this is going to be the shocking prediction I'm going to make, and I can't wait to see your reaction on film. Black Adam shows up on AEW.
Boy, you fucking crazy. If you correctly predict in some weird capacity that Dwayne The Rock freaking Johnson shows up on All Elite Media, I am going to owe you something highly expensive for the rest of your life.
Same. I will break. Noah, I will agree with you on that as well, because Rock is my childhood hero. He is my childhood idol. To see him in AEW will literally break me. And basically, whatever you want from Pro Wrestling Tees, I got you.
You realize there are some super expensive items on there, right?
But guys,
know that.
You gotta remember this. You gotta remember
I
this.
say one of these days it's gonna. Here's what I also say. I say Stone Cold.
Yep.
No.
Listen, because he is friends in real life with Tony Khan. Anything can happen.
How many times has AEW been in Texas and there hasn't been a single tease, chant, or notion that Stone Cold Steve Austin's going to show up?
Yeah. Here, can you imagine this? I say that y'all say The Rock and AEW.
Yes.
I say Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yes.
And
AEW. Hell yeah.
And can you imagine the reaction by WWE if The Rock and Stone Cold?
Oh my God! Okay, that'd be crazy.
Lord. Okay, that'd be worth looking at. That'd be worth looking at. I'm not gonna lie.
They would literally have a heart attack at The Rock and Austin in AEW.
Let's be real. What do you think the Tribalists would do?
Oh, they break the internet. They break the internet.
Virtual pitchforks for days.
Yeah, the Twitter would be broken.
Hey, there's something I do want to point out.
Go ahead, Eric. Because after that, I got something to say since we talked.
You want to know why I think it's more likely, besides The Rock having deals with Warner Media, to be Black Adam, and therefore they could do that. You want to know the other reason why I think this could also happen?
Why?
Do tell.
The Rock showed up via video for Impact last year.
That's right, to induct Ken Shamrock into the Impact Hall of Fame.
That That's true, but that was video, and that's due to connections that Ken Shamrock and The Rock had. We all remember Ken Shamrock and The Rock from the
But it
Attitude
still
Era.
counts. It still counts.
It
I mean,
still
fair
counts.
Hey,
enough.
WWE couldn't even get him for Survivor Series, and that was his 25th anniversary.
Yep.
Yeah, I know, right? And AEW pulled off Shaq in AEW.
No. You want to know what they pulled off? You want to know what they
Shaquille
pulled off?
O'Neal.
And this is the most respectful thing I can say. They pulled off. They made Martha let her walls go
Yes.
down regarding wrestling.
Yes, they did.
That's
Respect
the
Owen
point
Hart.
there.
So,
Yes, the Owen. We will see
Owen Hart.
the legacy of Owen Hart be honored in a tradition known as the Owen for both men and women, an award that will identify a wrestler that exhibits that level of excellence, technical ability, and overall confidence that Owen Hart represented every time he stepped into that freaking ring. I cannot wait to see this field. If there's any sort of like stipulations with these rules of this tournament, like is it going to be like technical bouts, a submission based? Is it going to be like certain tier based type stuff? And how far could this field span out beyond the AEW roster? Will the Forbidden Door be welcome? There's so much anticipation for this for me.
And you got something else. His return to the video game world.
Yes, because
Owen,
they came to an agreement that yes, you can use Owen Hart as part of the
You want to know what I said to myself one day, yesterday, that I said I would do?
What?
First AEW video game match I'm doing, Brody Lee versus Owen Hart.
Yes.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Now, okay.
All
All right. So I
back
read
to
on John
moments and crazy premonitions. Anyone else want to throw their hat towards anything? Okay, here's another one. Women's wrestling. Ronda Rousey shows up in AEW.
I can see that because
I wouldn't say a moment. I wouldn't say.
What you say, Casey?
What'd you say, Casey?
Shabir debuted.
She did. Good opening match against Chris Statlander. Dark. The problem.
Yeah. You imagine this? If Marina Shabir signed with AEW, then that's going to lead the way for the rest of three horsewomen of MMA.
Maybe.
And Ronda Rousey, Jasmine Duke, and Shayna Baszler.
And that would break Megan. That would break Megan.
Four of the MMA horsewomen in all elite professional wrestling. Man, they would strike gold if they signed.
Honestly, I would love to see Chris Cyborg show up. We saw how your girl King, Ty Conti, we know how much Chris Cyborg is one of her role models. I would love to see Chris Cyborg show up in AEW.
I got it. I got an idea.
What you got?
4 horsewomen of MMA taking on Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa, Ty Conti, and Hikaru Shida.
There you go.
Bloody guts.
There you go.
Yes,
Blood and Guts. That did happen this year too. What an interesting.
And it was botched by the ending because cameras
unfortunately. Again, it's one of those things where you have a great gimmick match. It's the ending that's going to remember more. Go ahead, Casey.
Here's another one that I'd like to see definitely happen. Stadium Stampede match in Las Vegas, Nevada, between the Undisputed Era versus the Elite in a Stadium Stampede match. And Double or Nothing's going to be in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's going to be in Las Vegas. I say borrow the Las Vegas Raiders football stadium for the Stadium Stampede match.
What?
And therefore, if Roderick Strong ever comes to AEW and he's a member of the Undisputed Era, alongside Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish versus Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and number 4 of the Elite, I say that match is going to tear the house down at Double or Nothing. That Stadium Stampede match will be awesome to watch between the two colliding.
It'd be interesting to see how much the cost would be to rent that. Go ahead, King.
Or they could do a tag team stadium stampede. I don't know. That's just out of the blue because the reason why I say that is because, well, John Alba came out of the came into Twitterverse today and said, I got some, y'all ready for me to break some news tomorrow that'll break the internet?
Oh, Lord.
And everybody has been piecing that puzzle together. And the puzzle that I pieced together was this, and this was from Matt Hardy from today on Via the Drive with Josh Graham. He said, I think me and Jeff teaming together and having one last run as a tag team would be amazing. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't think of a better place to do it than All Elite Wrestling.
King, what's that one phrase you say all the time about tag team wrestling in AEW?
AEW has got the tag team division on lockdown, which basically what I'm trying to piece together with this is that, is there something about Jeff's contract that we don't know that might break the internet tomorrow, perhaps?
Possibly. Here's the thing. Are we going to have one last surprise in AEW this Wednesday on the last Dynamite on TNT before we head to TBS 2022? Remember what Tony Khan said. Don't only look at Winter Is Coming where we didn't get no surprises, except for a Match of the Year candidate 60-minute draw. Expect surprises for the weeks to come. It's only been 1 week since Winter Is Coming. We've already had one surprise, and that's the Violent Artist Kyle O'Reilly's in AEW. What else could they have in store? Where next week we will have the first TBS champion crown, and we all hope it's either Thunder Rosa or Ruby Soho. I hope her shoulder's okay. And we also will have Hangman versus Danielson 2 with judges, and nothing else is known. And it's the go home to Battle of the Belts.
Yeah.
Which I think my prediction for that surprise in 2 weeks, or actually next week, sorry, the Briscoes show up next week.
Them boys.
Because remember, guys, it's going to be a 1 hour show. We all know that the AEW World Championship will not be at that show. It will be on the first Dynamite of the TBS era.
Correct.
Do we get FTR in them boys, the Briscoes, on Saturday, January 8th at Battle of the Belts?
Remember, they have a title around their waist.
And exactly. It's a title that FTR has yet to claim in their incredible tag team career. The Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships.
And the AAA. They have the AAA.
And the GCW. Yeah, and also the Briscoes also have the GCW Tag Team Championships,
That's
don't
right.
they? Exactly.
Winner take all.
Belt collecting galore. You got Will Ospreay. You have Deonna Purrazzo now trying to get the Women of Honor Championship, which she never lost, by the way, from Roxy. Again, I want Roxy versus Killer too.
I got another crazy prediction for 2022.
Okay, before you say that, let me just go ahead and say this real quick. To those that are affected with anything that ails you health-wise, mentally, physically, spiritually, and you're in the professional wrestling industry too, my deepest condolences, prayers, and good luck to you. Please get well and take care of yourself soon. This includes, but not limited to, two of my personal favorites, Killer Kelly, and of course, Jon Moxley. Now, if anyone else has anything to add to that, please speak now.
All right.
And Roy forever, yes, because he was.
Get well, yes. Get well soon, Mox. We can't wait to see you back whenever you're ready, sir.
There you go.
And
yes.
All I gotta say to that is, Killer Kelly, take it easy. Get well soon. You will defeat this because you are a very tough woman, and you will overcome this. Jon Moxley, take it easy, sir. You get well soon.
New father, by the way.
Son of a bitch, like you are.
He is a crazy son of a bitch. The freaking guy.
In AEW. And number 3, God rest his soul, Mr. John Huber, also known as Brody Lee.
Forever remembered.
And-
Forever exalted.
Which yesterday was the 1 year we
Yes.
lost him.
Yes. God rest Brody Lee's soul. I wish Brody Lee was here with us today in the wrestling world.
The matches.
The
The
forbidden door.
matches.
And just imagine the matches that Brody Lee could have possibly had.
Brody Lee versus Ishii.
Forbidden door, if he was still here with us.
Brody Lee versus Ishii. A match I will never see.
Brody Lee versus Minoru Suzuki.
Oh God!
Oh man.
Oh my Lord.
Man.
Oh, how can I forget about this moment? Yeah, while I'm changing tangents, I'll get to Eric. Katsuyori Shibata, the wrestler, will have a match at Wrestle Kingdom next freaking week.
Out of that bathroom.
Oh, there's
And
been an
Jonathan-
update on his match.
Well, Jonathan Gresham
Please.
caught him out.
Need some water, please.
Well, there's an update on his match on that match.
I'll do tell.
Oh, do tell.
It's a catch wrestling match. No strikes allowed.
Catch wrestling.
Gresham.
No what?
Gotta be Gresham. It's
Gresham.
gotta be Gresham.
So
Got
it
it.
is going to be. That means
Gresham.
the Ring of Honor World Title be defended at Wrestle.
He did say he wants to defend that in every match, basically going forward he goes. He's facing Chris Sabin at freaking Hard to Kill. And that's
Yeah,
next week, Saturday.
So that means that so if it is going to be Gresham and
Wait.
Shibata, it will be for the Ring of Honor World Championship.
Maybe.
Exactly.
Wait a minute. When is Wrestle Kingdom?
For the dog.
Next week, dude.
I want to
Oh, hell yeah.
Next
Well,
week.
Next
yeah.
week.
Gentlemen, all I gotta say is this. I'm gonna be renting it on Fight TV, but all I gotta say is I'm going to bed very early.
You better.
and setting
You better have your alarm set.
setting my alarm and then watching this shit. because
Get
I
ready
wanna
for a
see
Zoom
my
that's going to be
first Wrestle Kingdom
crazier and
pay-per-view.
longer and an earlier start time than when we watch
2 a.m.
Resurgence and
2 a.m.
And Triple A
Central over
back to
here,
back.
3 Eastern over there for y'all.
I cannot make that Zoom call. I'm dead sorry because I'm gonna be watching it on my iPad,
That's fair.
Fight TV on my Xbox. And try.
Who knows? We might get a post show if we have our voices still awake. We're definitely going to do some sort of Zoom thing from New Japan. I guarantee you that for Wrestle Kingdom.
We're-
Eric, anyway, changing tangents back. Eric, go back to what you were trying to say.
I have another wild prediction for next year. Besides The Rocket, besides Dwayne Johnson potentially showing up as Black Adam in AEW.
All right, go
Do
for it.
tell.
While we're getting-
2022 may be the last year we see Roman Reigns in a WWE ring.
That is right because he has teased Hollywood.
And then WWE has
And then
broken their
yep.
promise of the COVID testings.
Yep.
Yeah, there's going to be a whole
So you mean
new
to
landscape
wait,
next year.
wait. Since you mentioned that, does this mean that we might get Kevin Steen?
He signed a new deal, so unless Nick Khan fires him, I don't know.
Yeah,
But there is another update going on WWE Raw tonight that happened.
Oh Lord.
God.
Oh wait, let me guess. Veer showed up. I'm kidding.
No.
Let me guess. A double count out.
Oh, I have no idea. But guess what?
Got disqualified to end the show.
They did what?
Somebody got disqualified to end the show.
Oh no. They did a wedding they did a renew your vows with Maurice and Miz, and then in a bloodbath by Edge. So naturally, that's beside the point.
All
I'm
right.
not surprised.
Guess who
right.
showed up? Guess who showed up on Raw?
Who?
Oh.
I'm back, and I'm better than ever.
Eric Bischoff.
Eric Bischoff.
Yeah, he just showed up on Raw tonight.
The hell?
For what?
Are they bringing him back as a general manager?
No, Adam Pearce is still in that role.
Oh well.
Oh well,
Why?
lovely. I'll have to check it out on YouTube.
Yeah,
something
Eric
else.
Bischoff showed up on Raw.
Maybe I'll hear an authentic pop for the most controversial wrestling figure in freaking general manager history in the WWE.
Oh yeah, one of
The man who
I know what
who
Bischoff did
created the
on
Elimination
Raw.
Chamber.
What did he do?
wait. Let me guess. Was he the ordained minister for
What?
the wedding vows?
Yes.
Remember when he was
Oh,
ordained
God.
minister for? Remember when he cut that promo, guys, on SmackDown saying,
Oh,
"Did I
and he got
just hear you
bloodbath.
say 3
3
minutes?"
Yeah, I remember that. And he took the mask off. And it was the gay wedding too. I was like, oh Lord.
Speaking Eric
Second
Bischoff.
Billy.
Speaking of Eric Bischoff, y'all remember this from Monday Night Raw 2004? The brawl between Triple H and Shawn Michaels.
They couldn't control those two. They brawled all over the building.
Before bad blood at match. And
Yes.
the Raw,
I know so.
Eric Bischoff cannot control Shawn Michaels and Triple H.
No.
Those two brawled all over the damn building that
And
night.
then back to the ring, and the locker room couldn't break them up. That was one of my favorite feuds back in the old days. Oh my gosh, that was good stuff. All right. All right.
But yeah, Eric Bischoff was the minister of the wedding and got covered in the bloodbath with Maurice and Miz.
Oh, they. All right. Well, getting back to
from NY would have been ranting on that right about now.
I got better things to use my brain for than ran on that bullshit. All right, so we talked about wrestlers of the year, premonitions of the year, but let's talk about rising stars. We've seen some incredible talent flourish, debut, and rise and get signed. The likes include but not limited to Daniel Garcia, Lee Moriarty, Kylan King, who's owning the independent scene, by the way. Kudos to her. Sky Blue, and so many more too. And I'll give credit,
including our fellow ATW crew member, Kid Bandit.
Yes, and we also got, of course, our queen, Megan Chiba, becoming a future NXT UK star in the making. But I want to challenge you all with this. Male and or female, if you want to try both, who do you believe will be the wrestler to watch in 2022?
Got it. I already got mine.
I got it already too. Yep, I already got it.
One.
All right. All right. Well, Eric was the first one. Eric was the first one. I was like, he's got it. So Eric, you can go first. Then Casey.
Jeff Cobb will bloom along with Ty Conti.
All right. Very nice. I like that. Short, sweet, simple to the point. All right. Just give me names, guys. Casey, you're next.
All right. Hook. Hook. So only wrestler I can think of, Hook.
Oh, all right. I think that's a good one. Again,
Got
how long have they been teasing that guy? And listen to the ovations he gets. By the way, not filtered.
Hook's going to be a TNT champ before when you think about it.
They're already teasing him versus the current champ. I'm just saying.
That guy is just so over with the crowd. And I say when Hook beats Cody Rhodes for the TNT championship,
yeah, I did hear about that because during the post show after Greensboro, Hook, I think Hook or Cody, whoever said it, said
next time we go to Greensboro, how about we do Hook versus Cody? It was Cody. And think about this. When Hook first appeared on our screens in AEW,
it's 10:30.
It was because of Cody and Taz jaw-jacking each other about, okay, he's your son, so ATW is so important. Why is he training with me? Call back, long-term storytelling. But I digress. Okay, King, name your rising stars for 2022 to watch.
Easy. Daniel Garcia and Lee Moriarty.
All right. Let's see. Rising star. Oh boy. I mean, Takani's not a rising star. She already is a star, so that's why I can't say that. I'm going with
Casey.
Go ahead, Casey. What?
A name just came to my mind since I just said Hook is definitely going to be a rising star.
Yeah.
I say Dante Martin.
Oh, Dante Martin.
Dante Martin.
Yeah.
Dante Martin is on my list to be a
Well,
rising
it's funny.
star.
It's funny you
along
mentioned
with-
that name because the two names that I was thinking of personally was Dante Martin and Daniel Garcia. So we'll see what happens. And again, I hope that they bring more women's talent flourishing and moving forward. Again, Sky Blue, I think, definitely has the potential. But we'll have to wait and see. And will
Okay.
Ember Moon show up in AEW? Because Thunder
Yeah,
Rosa wants to
probably.
fix her. That's another thing.
Will Athena show up in AEW? We gotta wait and see.
Well, the former Tegan Knox show up in AEW. Who could show up in
Nikki
AEW
Newell.
if the world, God help us.
Could Mia Yim show up in?
But I mean, Rosemary said, "Come back, Blue," because again, that Knockouts roster is flourishing. All right, and I'm still waiting for Killer Kelly versus Deonna Purrazzo. I'm just gonna put that out there right now. But also, I was just thinking about this: if the world, God help us, is actually manageable next year, will AEW finally go across the waters to the UK, and who could show up then too?
Right.
Bottom line is this: there's a whole lot to figure about when it comes to all things professional wrestling in 2022, but my eyes are definitely set at the highest on AEW, NJPW, and NWA2, particularly Give Me More Empower. And I'm curious to see what awaits GCW at the Hammerstein Ballroom and what else the professional wrestling industry brings forward too. So but before we close for the night and the year,
I got one more thing.
Eric, what you got?
Go ahead.
At Revolution next year, CM Punk loses his first match to Hook.
What?
Oh,
I'm calling it.
I was thinking MJF
I
be
was
the first
thinking
one to
MJF.
do it.
By the way,
MJF
promo
is
of the
like
year,
the perfect
MJF and
guy to
CM Punk.
Yeah,
Promo of the
it's
year,
hard.
most
I
definitely.
was thinking MJF. I was thinking MJF, but I was thinking, man, I know MJF is already guaranteed the AEW World Championship next year, most likely.
Yeah, most likely.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to see Hook beat Punk.
Can you imagine?
You already outsold him on the shirt.
Jesus.
Yeah, again,
Hook
the possibilities,
would
the
literally be a made
potential,
man if he beat Punk.
the possibilities, the potential, guys, endless in professional wrestling next year in 2022, especially with how AEW constantly teases us and long-term stories tell us too. If they took this long to give Heyman and Adam Page the title, it wouldn't surprise me if MJF doesn't get the title to 2023. Double or nothing. There, I said it. But
Yeah, and in my opinion, okay. Man, I was gonna say something now. I've lost it, sadly.
Oh, damn it.
What?
Short-term memory loss. Whoop, there it goes. All right. Well, I tried to get it back. Casey, any closing remarks as we conclude the ATW view and head into 2022 regarding all things wrestling?
Promo of the year, I definitely give it CM Punk and MJF because those two absolutely verbally destroyed one another on the microphone because that was just savagery unleashed right there. I thought you need a damn fire truck to put out those mics because those mics are on fire between MJF and CM Punk. And my second promo of the year, that's right up there, is Dr. Britt Baker, DME, and Ruby Soho on that episode.
Rampage, yes.
ATW Rampage. And those two women right there verbally destroyed each other on the mic. It was just very brilliantly and intelligent. And those were they're literally speaking from the minds and saying whatever they thought.
Well, to be fair, Britt Baker is the most uncensored and unfiltered person in all of AEW, but go ahead.
And Britt Baker, the kind of she has no chill when it comes to promos. She
No.
literally does not give a damn who she pisses off her entire day in promos.
Or talks about.
And therefore, I consider Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, the best female wrestler on the microphone because you literally cannot out talk Britt whatsoever.
I think that's fair.
The only one that hung in there and did pretty good with it was Ruby Soho, hung right in there. And that was just shots being fired back and forth, and MJF and Punk. That was just nukes being dropped from one way to another. And those are those are my two promos of the year. CM Punk and MJF and Dr. MD and Ruby Soho.
Well, I also want to give a shout out to Eddie Kingston and CM Punk and their fight they hyped up for ATW Full Gear.
Eddie Kingston, CM Punk. The build up to that.
1 week, we got it. We're sold, everybody. We sold it.
Yeah.
And it had a real backstory to it, which is why it works so damn well. That was one of my favorite matches from Full Gear. I'm going to say it right now, my favorite of the year, despite the fact you had that steel cage match and two all-time great pro wrestlers show up by the end of it. I say my favorite of the year is once again AEW Full Gear. 2 years in a row. Congrats to them, in my personal opinion.
Definitely.
All right. Oh, by the way, shout out to the Best Friends, who I think have been one of my favorite factions to watch this year when it comes to the growth.
They're not the Best Friends anymore.
And yeah, you're right. They're chaos. They're now chaos.
Yes.
Got to give the people what they want. But
also, I finally remember what I was going to say.
Go ahead.
What?
Okay. You want to know why I think Hook is going to probably be the TNT champion after Cody and defeat CM Punk first?
Why?
Well, one, remember, okay, you were all talking about how Cody was bragging about, why is your son training with me and not you thing? Yeah. And Hook can just use the storyline of, because so I can find the way to break you the most.
There you go. Psychological
and
warfare.
Two, the reason why I think Punk would take the first loss will be to Hook is because Punk kind of put Hook over the first time. Send Hook.
Yeah, it was the very first person he called out on Team Taz when they were going after him. I also want to give shout outs to some of my favorite matches I've seen live, including Pac versus Andrade. That was one of my favorite experiences. And I think Pac Andrade too, that Joseph saw, damn him, definitely surpassed my first one. Shout out to Jacob Fatu and the incredible run he's had in MCW. And
I remembered his long reign ended.
Yeah, AJ Mendez, we'll see what she brings forward in WoW, and will a nuclear bomb be defused next year? Is past transgressions forgiven? We'll have to wait and see, but I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
They made a shirt out of it. I don't think anyone's forgiven it.
Well, I mean, yeah, but to be fair, if you can make a shirt out of something and make money off it, why don't you, right? I mean, that's the way the industry works. All right, King, you're last, man. Your final thoughts and retrospective on the ATWView as we head into 2022 and all things wrestling.
I'm just going to keep it short and simple, straight to the point. We're going to be buckled in for a crazy, wild ride into the new year, and I can't wait to see what's in store. I can't wait to see what's in store for GCW, AEW, I mean, just everything professional wrestling. Like, I'm ready to see what every single promotion has to offer and who's going to be signing to these companies out of the free agent pool. Can't wait.
There you go. Again, it's so deep, it's so diverse. Who will show up? Who will turn? What shocking surprises await us? What instant classics await us? Next rising stars.
Wait, you forgot one more.
What?
What will break the internet wrestling community?
Yes. Either in the most positive way or the worst way. And can it start as soon as this Saturday with, God help us, Day 1. And following that, we have Wrestle Kingdom The first
Noah, you forgot Noah. No, you forgot Noah.
Yes, Noah is after
Especially since we don't know Kenta is switching sides left and right.
But Kenta's going to be Kenta. He's doing his own thing. He don't give a shit. That's what Kenta.
I think
right?
he's going to be out of Bullet Club next year because his loyalty's shifting constantly.
And look, he has the U.S. title. He said he's not going to lose until he faces someone worthy of it. And that's not going to happen until he crosses the Forbidden Door and comes back over here to AEW, where Lance Archer, I know, is one person waiting. Bold prediction, too. Eddie Kingston finally fucking becomes a champion next year because, damn it, he deserves to be one.
I think he's going to be champion after MJF.
If they push it that far, then I agree. We'll have to get through 2.0, King, and Daniel Garcia. But again, that'll be this Wednesday. Again, and good old JR, welcome back, my friend. Can't wait to hear your voice carry us out into 2022. That being said, like I said, next week, yeah, Wrestle Kingdom with Noah. And then, of course, next week, Saturday night, Battle of the Belts and Hard to Kill. The first ever Knockouts Ultimate X match, and will Cardona finally claim what has he been denied his entire career, a main top tier championship? Or is Moose going to go prove that he is mid Cardona in his opinion? Will Morrissey surprise us and become the champion? And who knows what else might change and start to be the landscape in all things wrestling. PWG, GCW, Hammerstein Ballroom, by the way, major plus to him. Ring of Honor restructuring, all the best of those incredible talents, some of which are now in AEW, and the best of that company that's been a pillar of professional wrestling honor since early 2000s. Just saying, and who will come back from either injury, hiatus, or renewed passion to the shared wrestling universe that we now live into, which I don't see.
I also think if Ring of Honor is able to survive their restructuring, I'm pretty sure their first big event is going to have Jonathan versus Bandito for the title match.
Yeah, because Bandito fell fortunately to COVID and wasn't able to be part of Final Battle, which had some really fun matches. Shout out to Roxy, like I said, and two boys with the Battle and Dishonor that settled a grudge match. The callback match was fun, and Michael, what is it? Bennett? Yeah, Mike Bennett, Canellis. Too many names to remember. And Matt Taven, great match with the boys. Got them tag team titles. Well, the Crockett
and EC3. Yeah, and EC3 and Titan.
Control your narrative. Where will this awakening show up next? Not in vain.
Well, I do have some updates for PWG's Battle of Los Angeles.
Yes, which also
they finally revealed the final three.
And who would they be?
Ring of Honor star Ray Horace.
Nice.
The next one will be Phil Five Skulls, a mystery opponent. And guess who's gonna guess who was the final one?
What?
The Secret No More.
Buddy Matthews. Nice.
Yes.
Oh, and shout out to a brand that I hold near and dear to my heart, RIP as well. Goodbye, 205 Live. So
they really need to change the name.
It pisses me off when I see 205 Live still being an actual show, but I digress. Well, gentlemen, I think that about concludes what we need to say or think about all things wrestling on this episode of ATW View. It's been a hell of a first year for this platform. I can't wait to see what we do a bit going forward as we head into 2022. So we will resume our private Zooms for ATW this Wednesday for the final TNT episode of AEW Dynamite. That being said, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for those that tune in, listen to us rant, ramble, talk, and just reminisce and pontificate and maybe have a prophecy or hypothesize what could come in all things wrestling. The links for our Twitter will be down in the description below. For the ATW family as a whole, not just these fine pillars with me too. I am the Superman Noah Foster, signing off with the Inquirer, a bearer of news, Eric Brown, the king himself, who's finally getting ready to go to sleep himself, not GTS. Kenta for CM Punk, please have it next year, but I digress. King Anthony. Hey, it needs to happen. Only one man can own that move. It needs to happen, but I digress. And of course.
Anyway, I got one more thing to say.
Go ahead, Casey, the preacher man. You stop that! Also, yeah. Ali versus Kylie King. I'm ready for that match. Let's fucking go. Anyway, but I digress. All right, folks, we're out. Thank you again for tuning in the first time or this whole year for the ATW View. And on behalf of my family, I bid you all now truly a fine adieu. And Happy New Year to you all too. Please stay safe. God bless you all and your families too. Goodbye. Mwah. Indulge in the bubbly and be safe and treasure your families too. And good night. Bang.